This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of Phatts TV, sanctioned by Phatts and the non-genetically proven son. Any and all words have been authorized during the show. There is nothing off limits. Nobody is restricted from watching and participating in the show. It is a free-for-all. Commencing at the siren, any and all discussions will be legal for an extended period of time. Sports, politics, and any and all controversial topics will be talked about. You have been warned. May God be with us all.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Phatts TV on this Friday night, December the 10th, 2021. Rolling towards the end of 2021. Get ready to look forward to the beginning of 2022. For some of you. Maybe some of you don't want 2021 to end. Who knows? Who gives a fuck? Joining me, as always, in the upper left-hand portion of the screen, deep in his underground bunker in the heart of Center County, Pennsylvania, the one, the only, the non-genetically proven son.
Woo!
How's it going?
It's the week before finals week. So busy.
Good.
No, I don't like busy.
Good. Good.
Nobody wants to be busy.
Good. Good. So, the big news coming out of Center County today.
That I had a bowel movement.
Nope. Nope.
That we got a new president.
No. No.
The woke University of Pennsylvania.
No. No. No.
Huh.
Would you want me to just tell you?
Sure.
That they found some ballots and PA Phatts actually did win mayor of State College.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be giving my acceptance speech sometime in the near future.
That's why you never secede?
That's right. That's right. Now, the big news coming out of Center County, Pennsylvania today is Penn State quarterback Sean Clifford returning for year 6, 8, 9, whatever it is.
6.
Thanks to the COVID rules, they could come back. He's now
Even though he had a full season last year, so I think that's BS.
He's now a super senior. Mixed reaction amongst the public.
Mixed? More like 80-20 mixed.
Mixed reaction amongst the public. I don't think there's mixed reaction amongst the two of us.
Hey, you want to know something? Sean Clifford is just as old as Justin Herbert.
Yeah. I'm going to say not nearly as talented, though.
No, one's a starting quarterback in the NFL, and the other feels the need to go back to Penn State, who just went 7-5.
You could understand why he wants to come back.
Yeah, because he's not going to make it in the NFL. He's not good.
Right. He certainly... No one would draft him after his performance this year. Now, would their record still have been 7-5 if he never gotten hurt? Probably not. Probably.
We don't Illinois.
Probably no more than 3 losses.
Yeah, we would have beat Iowa.
Probably would have beat Iowa. Would have beaten Illinois. Who knows? They may have. Yes, he played against Michigan, but
I think we would have beat Michigan because we probably should have beat Michigan.
So, it's not the worst thing in the world from a what kind of player he could be perspective. Where I don't like it, and I've been saying it over and over again, You have the number one recruit quarterback in the nation coming into Penn State. He needs to be your starter next year. Now,
pretty much.
The young men in the quarterback room were interviewed about this, and at least on the record, 3 of them were saying that they were excited to get the opportunity to learn playing behind Clifford for a year. The Canadian, the Ohio Player of the Year, and the Pennsylvanian. Didn't see anything about Roberson in the article.
No, because he's leaving. There's no doubt in my mind he's leaving. Because he's probably the worst quarterback in the room. He could be good, but I don't think Penn State's where he could be good.
They have that other quarterback that played.
The freshman, the true freshman.
He could be worse, too.
He could be. But he's definitely not better than Christian.
So, why are you against him coming back?
Because it could ruin our program.
Explain.
You start Clifford, Drew Aller leaves, Vayu leaves. I wouldn't be surprised if Vayu packs it up. Then you have that 3-star we have coming in. He might even leave.
Well,
I mean, he's already committed to being probably a 3rd stringer in his 4 years. I would hope he would know that.
I think the Canadian is most likely gone anyway. Because I don't think... Again, you got the number 1 recruit in the nation coming in. Let's just assume he stays. Okay? I mean, I saw his Twitter post yesterday when he got named Mr. Ohio Player of the Year.
Yeah.
His picture was in his Penn State uniform. Like, it wasn't his high school uniform. It was in his Penn State uniform. I mean, that kind of tells you something. Kind of.
That he's committed to go here?
Yes.
Okay. So let's just say he's okay with being redshirted. Fine. Whatever. Vayu still leaves. Roberson still leaves.
I don't think Vayu would leave next season, though. I think he would leave after next season. Because if he's redshirted, then they're going to need a backup.
Yeah, but does he want to be a backup when he could be probably a starter somewhere else?
Yeah, maybe.
Or when he could probably be the starter here?
Maybe. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I would like to know Franklin's thinking, and again, he's not going to come out and publicly say what I'm about to say. Well, he's going to come out and say what I'm about to say. But what's the real thought? He's going to come out and say there's going to be an open competition at quarterback next year. The job isn't automatically Sean Clifford's. That's what he's going to say. Again, that's what gets said on the record. The question is, what's really being said off the record? What is Drew thinking? Is he thinking, well, there goes my chances of starting for 4 years for Penn State. I'm out of here because I could go anywhere, be a starter, and get that NIL contract.
Right.
You know, NIL has changed this so much. Or is he going to be redshirted and still make $1 million next year off of an NIL contract? If that's the case, then it's not so bad. If you think about it.
Yeah, then he still starts 4 years.
Well, at least 2.
At least, yeah, if he wants to start 4 years.
Right. Right. Because he'd be able to leave after his redshirt sophomore year to the NFL if he chose to.
Yeah.
Which, if he's good enough, you don't blame him.
Right.
I mean, this is. I just hope that the job isn't Clifford's automatically, and I'm afraid that's what's going to happen.
Well, two more things that I got with it. I'm pretty sure I've told the story on here about a friend of mine that knew Will Levis.
You have.
That there wasn't really an open competition. It was Clifford.
Yes.
And second thing, we can't forget about the running back position. We have he might be the best running back coming in as well. We have like 4 running backs on the roster already that are good.
And we've said that every year for the last 3 years.
So again, if you don't start him, does he leave?
I don't think he would leave.
Probably not. You better start him his sophomore year.
I mean, as with I always say, it doesn't matter how good your running backs are if your offensive line can't open holes.
Yeah, Saquon Barkley, we get it. We get that.
It's just going to be interesting. I'm worried that the job is going to automatically be Clifford's, even if he's the worst player out there. What I would have rather have seen is that Clifford would have become some type of coach for Penn State. You know, not necessarily making him the quarterback's coach, but some type of coach where he could help develop the quarterbacks. But again, if he has his mind set on playing in the NFL, then he had no choice but to come back.
Yeah, because he's not getting drafted. He might get picked up in free agency, but he'd be a practice squad guy.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't see him ever becoming a starter in the NFL anyway, to be honest.
No.
I mean, let's just be honest.
I would say McSorley's a better quarterback. All around.
See, now, I think Clifford's a better passer.
That's why I said all around. Because I don't think McSorley is as good of a pocket passer when Clifford is like on. Because for some reason, when he's on, yeah, he looks really good. But then the problem is he's not on enough.
I mean, the question is going to be what kind of team do they have coming back next season?
But we need a line anyways. Our quarterback gets injured every year. Every single year.
Clifford has been injury prone.
It's because he doesn't have an offensive line. That's the problem.
So, I know I made the comment last week that if Drew's not starting, play 1, game 1, the coaching staff should be immediately fired. Well, I think no matter what, Clifford starting game 1, play 1 next season.
Yeah, and I'm going to get on the Fire Franklin train.
I think he could be the worst quarterback at camp, and he's still going to get the job. I just have that feeling. Now, again, if Drew is okay with redshirting, then fine. So be it. Fine.
Yeah, I'd still rather Christian play because he's...
So would I.
I'd rather him play.
So would I. But...
Maybe something new here.
You know, how's the team going to shape up, next year? They got to go to Auburn. Who knows?
I mean, there's no way we ever beat Ohio State with Clifford. I'm sorry, but that's just true.
Yeah.
Because we should have 2 straight years, and we blew it.
Well, it should have beat him with McSorley, too.
Did once.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So, the bowl matchups are out.
Yeah, they are. Bowl matchups are out.
Your first reaction on the 2 playoff games?
The one game's going to be really good. Georgia, Michigan. That should be a really good game. Alabama, Cincy. I think Alabama could probably play their backup team and probably win still comfortably.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Alabama will not beat Cincy by more than they beat Georgia.
Or they beat Georgia by.
A lot.
I think Alabama puts up 40 on them.
They might. But they're not going to beat them by more than they beat Georgia by.
I don't know. Cincinnati just seemed to struggle against their conference opponents. A lot of them.
And didn't Alabama too until they played Georgia. Then they looked like the Alabama that's around every. I mean, you know what? The question would have been if they did wind up losing to Auburn like they should have, and then did what they did in the SEC championship game, would they have made the playoffs? And probably the answer is yes.
Yeah, they would have.
They would have been
3.
They would have been the 4. Michigan would have been the 1. Michigan would have been moved up to 1. And Georgia would have slid to 2, and they'd be playing Cincinnati. And Alabama, off that blowout win, would have been 4, and you would have a very pissed off Notre Dame team.
Yeah, but Notre Dame was extremely yawning this year.
Well, I get it.
You lost their one game to Cincinnati, all right. Honestly, they probably should have lost that game on paper. But they didn't beat everybody else very convincingly. And when you play inferior opponents, if you're not beating everybody convincingly, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs.
Oh. So Cincinnati didn't deserve to be there.
No, they don't. I don't think they deserve to be there.
Got ya.
But if Oklahoma State could score from the damn 1, they'd be in the playoffs.
No, they wouldn't. They wouldn't have. They would have kept Cincinnati in there, in my estimation.
Yeah, and Cincinnati gets blown out. This is why we don't ever put a group of 5 team in the playoffs.
Well, you're going to be seeing it a lot when it gets expanded.
Because when there's 12 or whatever, then, yeah, sure, put an automatic spot in there, but it's basically a free win for whoever plays them.
So, first reaction, what's the final game?
Georgia, Alabama.
And any guess what the line is, since there's a line out for it already? Take a guess what the line is. Now, let's remember, it was Georgia 6.5 last week.
You gonna tell me Alabama's like a 6.5 point favorite?
Well, I'm asking you, what's the line?
Since you're saying it that way, Alabama -7.
God, you know nothing about line making.
See, the way you said it makes me think it's way more than I was gonna say.
All I said is remember Georgia was 6.5 last week.
Okay, so the way you said it, you're like, oh, remember Georgia's 6.5. So
well, yeah. So obviously it's not going to be Georgia's 6.5.
I probably would have said, I don't know, Alabama -2. If before you said anything.
You're close.
You can tell me Georgia's a favorite?
I am.
Give me Alabama. No, give me Georgia still. Georgia's going to win that game.
Georgia -1. I'm going to tell you right now, they better change quarterbacks if they want to win.
Yeah.
I said it was I've been saying all year, it's a free roll for Georgia because there ain't no way they're going to lose twice to Alabama. Well, after what I saw last week, I think JT Daniels would be the better option for them at quarterback.
Who'd they play? What quarterback?
Their other quarterback.
I don't know who
the guy that replaced Daniels.
Oh.
I don't know. Georgia it looked great in the first quarter. I know you didn't watch. You were at a hockey game.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch.
The game, it went as you and I thought it was going to go in the first quarter. And then all of a sudden it was like Alabama, Georgia of old.
Alabama just destroys them.
After that, yeah. Georgia couldn't stop them. It was like, wow.
That's crazy when Georgia gave up on average 7 points a game this year.
And I gotta hand it to our buddy Todd. I'm not worthy, I always tell him I'm not worthy to be in his presence. He told me. He said Alabama's beating him. You know, Todd.
Remember when I said I kind of liked Alabama, but like I wasn't gonna take it?
Yeah, you did.
I was like, I kind of like them. I don't know, just because of Georgia having a free roll. So it's like if they lose, it's not a big deal, but they should. But you still obviously want to win.
Mm-hmm.
Because then Alabama's not in the playoffs. And you would have had a much, much, much easier time winning a national championship with Notre Dame versus Alabama. Because I think they roll Notre Dame. I think they roll Cincy. I'm not sure they'd roll. I'm not sure they're going to roll Michigan. Depends which Michigan wants to show up.
See, I think the under is the play in that game.
I think if it's the Michigan that I watched play Penn State right in front of my eyes, yeah, Georgia wins. If it's the Michigan I watched play in the second half against Iowa, Michigan might win.
I think Michigan's going to have a hard time scoring against Georgia.
Yeah, they probably will have a tough time moving the ball, but I think Georgia could also have a tough time moving the ball.
So I had posted on my Facebook page 4 games that I liked when the lines first came out. So I want to see how much they moved now. So the first game that I posted that I liked was Pitt -4 over Michigan State.
Okay.
So let's see what that line currently is. It is, and again, we use Barstool Sports, so where you play might be different. It's okay. So the line went from Michigan Pittsburgh -4 to Michigan State -1.
Yeah.
So the question is Kenny Pickett not playing?
I don't know.
I tell you what, if he's playing in that game,
You're gonna lay the house on Pitt.
well, yeah. See, now this is the new thing. Who's playing and who's not playing in bowl games? That's.
If I'm Pickett, I probably wouldn't play. You're probably the top quarterback prospect. He might even win the Heisman. He's not going to, but he is in the Final Four.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be Bryce Young. Shocker, shocker.
Probably.
Or that defensive guy from Michigan when his stats aren't even that impressive. He averages like 0.9 sacks a game. Big deal.
The next game that I had was Texas A&M -5 over Wake Forest.
I see them on ESPN as -7.
-7.5. So that moved the way I thought it would move. So bad on me not getting. Well, I didn't play it. I should have. I have Arkansas +4.5 over Penn State.
I see Penn State -2.
And on Barstool, where are you? Penn State 2.5. So that moved the way I figured it would.
Yeah, I think that line's a little stupid.
And I have Baylor +2.5 against Mississippi.
I see Baylor at -1.5.
And at Barstool, it's a pick. So that moved the way I figured it would. See, this is important for you people that like to, put some shekels on some games, to always bet early. Bet opening lines. That's where you'll always get your best advantage, is to bet opening lines.
Well, I know you like Ole Miss in that game.
I do not. I like Baylor in that game.
You like Notre Dame. My bad. Against Oklahoma State.
Well, Only because I'm not sure. Oklahoma State was literally 8 inches away from potentially being in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That play looked very similar to Indiana Penn State last year. Neither of them made it, by the way.
Yeah, neither of them made it.
Although one was called a successful 2-point conversion.
Yeah, it was.
So, for our next show, which we got to figure out when it's going to be, since you're traveling towards the end of next week.
Probably Wednesday. I mean, I could do it off-site. I'll have my computer. I can bring the microphone.
So, we'll decide. We're going to do a little contest.
Yeah, I love contests. Especially, except the Phantastic Phive. I'm getting my butt kicked in that.
And this year you are.
And it's not because you're doing good. It's because I'm doing awful.
Hey, I'm over 50%.
Congratulations. You're at like 52%.
So we're going to pick the bowl games. We're going to do this straight up because...
All of them?
Well, it depends on when we do the show. If we do the show Thursday or before, yes. If we're going to do the show Friday, then we're not going to do the Friday games.
So who do you like at MTSU and Toledo?
Now, since it's, lines are moving and, all we're going to do is the competition between us, and it's going to be a gentleman's wager, even though there's only one gentleman here.
Okay.
It's just going to be straight up. Maybe next year we'll do a Phatts college football thing. Contest. Like we did last year with college basketball.
Oh, a bracket?
Yeah. Well, not a bracket, just, we'll do something, and maybe again straight up with confidence points. And the winner will get a trophy. Like the one that's still sitting in my living room that you haven't taken back with you.
Yeah. Remind me to do that next weekend.
If I remember to put it in my car.
And then I can take it back up here and then wait till he gets back up here because he's not here.
So is there any bowl games that you thought were interesting with the spread? I'm sure you... Again, you're busy right now at school, so you haven't looked at it like I have.
No, I can't really say I've looked at it. I'm
just
gonna look through it really quick.
What's your thought on Penn State, Arkansas? Which we'll have a lot more.
Penn State.
Which we'll have a lot more on that in the next couple weeks. I
don't get why Penn State's a favorite. I really don't.
Okay.
I don't deserve to be a favorite. Are they the better team? Yeah, probably. Do they perform like the better team? No. Were we a 7-5 team this year? No. 9-3.
Little surprised they got that bowl.
Yeah, and once I saw that bowl, it hit me pretty much in about 3 seconds why we got that bowl.
Yeah, there's one reason.
Money.
Because
we travel very, very well.
Yes.
And since it's in Florida, we're going to travel well. Doesn't matter how good the team was.
Yes.
If it was in New York, I'm not sure we would have traveled well if it's freezing.
Yes.
But since we get to go down to Florida in Tampa Bay, nice part of Florida, we're going to travel.
Yes. I know my nephew / godson, your cousin, is very excited about that.
I hope I get to go. If not, it's okay.
You're not going.
Probably not.
Have you asked?
Not yet.
Okay.
Somebody's not happy about it. If we go. Because I won't see them when the year turns to 2022. So they're not happy about it.
Okay.
That's kind of was my reaction. Okay.
Well, we'll talk offline about that because there's some things that we need to discuss about that. So
I
let's
kind
go ahead.
of like Kentucky only giving a field goal to Iowa.
Okay.
I like Utah catching. On here it says 6.5. I kind of like Utah. I don't know. Does Ohio State care? They're not in the playoffs. Do they care?
It's a good question.
Does Ryan Day even? Is he still going to be the coach after this year?
Well, I'm the one that told you last week that there's a rumor going around that Chicago wants him.
Yeah. So that's where I'm getting that.
Now, if you're Ryan Day, would you leave Ohio State to go coach Chicago?
I mean, if you're getting double the money, yeah, he probably would. It doesn't really matter in the NFL to coaches. You're in the NFL, and I feel like that's the pinnacle of what you're trying to do.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Or you have the team that's pretty much guaranteed to make the playoffs every year. All you have to do is beat Michigan and Penn State.
And now with it expanding, it'll make it even easier.
Yeah, because now if Penn State doesn't make it, that's a failed season. If you're not making the top 12, that's pretty sad. Or 16, whatever they do. That's pretty sad if you're not making that. LSU, Kansas State. That's the bowl I like. For some reason, that's on January 4th.
Guess who's coaching LSU? Some intern, maybe somebody in the whose major is like biochem or something. They'll get to coach that game.
Maybe.
Since
Notre Dame, Oklahoma State's the most boring game on here.
Since go Tigers, isn't there? Go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
Yeah, you do that a lot better than I do.
Go Tigers. That's why it's the Fiesta Bowl, because nobody cares about the Fiesta Bowl.
I'm sure some people do.
Yeah, when Penn State won it, I cared about it.
I believe they won a national championship out there.
I don't know. Wisconsin, Arizona State, that could be a good game. Good defensive game, if you like defense. I don't like a lot of these games. At least, like, the matchups are, like, really the lines. Hawaii, Memphis. There it is.
There you go.
In the Hawaii Bowl. Shocker.
It's amazing how many times Hawaii goes to the Hawaii Bowl.
I feel like they kind of have that locked up, unless they're, like, really good and ranked.
Or really bad.
I feel like they got the Hawaii Bowl locked up as long as they get 6 wins.
How would you feel if you go to Hawaii as your college and you get to play in the Hawaii Bowl?
In Aloha Stadium, which is, like, ginormous and never fills.
Like, how would that feel? It's like...
But if you're going to Hawaii, you're probably not going for football.
Like, let me ask you a question. You play football for Hawaii. And you have the chance to go to a bowl game, but your choices are the Hawaii Bowl or the Idaho Potato Bowl. Let's just go from one extreme to the other. What would you rather do?
Neither.
Would you rather play a bowl game in, where you always play? Or would you rather travel to Boise, Idaho and play in what could be 15-degree weather?
I think I'd rather play in Hawaii at that point. I'm kind of like Army only giving 3.5 to Missouri. I think Missouri's kind of a joke of a 6-6 team.
That would be an interesting game.
You think?
I think it could be an interesting game. I just said it.
What do you think about UTSA San Diego State?
When I don't know what to make of San Diego State. They got their doors blown off in their conference championship game by Utah State.
Yeah, and then Utah State's an underdog to Oregon State.
Which you would have expected.
Yeah, not by a touchdown, maybe.
I mean, you would expect Oregon State to be favored over Utah State. It's like you had a chance to win your conference. I believe you were on your home field, I believe, for that game. And you were a decently large favorite, like over a touchdown, and you got run over by like 30-some points.
46-13.
Yeah. Texas San Antonio played they played on their home turf against Western Kentucky in a game that I bet the over. And I kind of had that game pegged right. I said they scored 90-some points the last time they played earlier in the season. I said I expect a game very similar, and I said they may not score, that many points again, but I did like the over 72. They scored 90 points, I believe. Maybe. So it was very, very similar. That should be that might be a game that I'm going to enjoy watching, actually.
Listen, I don't know if that's a game I would like to bet just because UTSA hasn't played anybody like even as good as Utah State.
Well, I would beg to differ. I would bet Western Kentucky is better than Utah State.
Okay.
Where's that game at? Like, what bowl game is that?
The Frisco Bowl.
So it's in San Francisco.
That it is.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
It's in Frisco, Texas.
Oh, never mind. It's not in San Francisco.
This is Toyota Stadium, so wherever that is.
Okay.
The Tropical Smoothie Cafe Frisco Bowl. You think that would probably be in San Francisco, but,
You would think. I mean, there used to be a San Francisco Bowl. Maybe there's not anymore. Lord knows I would not want to play a bowl game in San Francisco. Might get robbed during the game.
I'd be fine with the Bahamas Bowl.
Like you might see a mob rush the field during the game and rob players of pads and helmets and shit.
How about the Bahamas Bowl?
I wouldn't mind a game in the Bahamas.
The problem is that game sucks. It's like a really low bowl.
Well, yeah. What do you think? They got a lot of money down there to put up?
Maybe. It's better than playing in New York.
They have a Fenway Bowl this year, too.
Of course they do. That's a terrible place to have a football game.
Any baseball stadium is not a good place to have a football game.
No, it's not.
Because the dimensions don't work.
You don't you're sitting behind home plate. You're so far from the field.
Well, it depends how they put the field.
Either way, it's in the outfield.
It doesn't have to be. It could go from like depending upon the dimensions, it could go from like the pitcher's mound out.
You're gonna be like Oakland?
Yeah, like I said, that's why it's such a multi-purpose stadiums are not a good idea. They're just not. It doesn't work for football. It works great for baseball. It does not work good for football. It never has.
Yeah.
Never has. So, I thought I was a mind reader.
Yeah?
I thought I was.
Did you think you're a mind reader?
I thought I was. And we're now talking about the Phantastic Phive.
Yeah.
From last week.
Yeah.
I thought I was a mind reader.
Okay.
I'm going to play a video from last week's show.
Okay.
And this part is when we were going over your picks.
Okay.
So let's see here if it'll play right.
Okay.
I looked at it.
Then you took Iowa. I think this is a little bit interesting of a pick for you because I know what your feeling about Iowa is.
I like Michigan. Michigan. So
a little opposite.
One of my games, I'll tell you right now, the next 4 games, I like the other team.
And that explains why I like 2 of your teams here.
I like the other team, so I picked 5 games that I liked. I wasn't going to change Georgia. But I did say last week on the show, I'm going to pick 5 games, and I'm going to change them all.
Yeah, you did.
The opposite. Because one of them's got to hit. I can't do any worse than 1-4, realistically. Yeah, I could, but I'm not going to. I'm going to hit one of them.
Oh, it'll be so great when you go 1-4 this week and only win the Georgia game. That would be so you right now. That would literally be so you.
Can I quit at that point? Can I just accept 0-5 and just not make picks anymore?
That would be so.
That would be me. That would absolutely be me if it does that.
All right, so you.
Okay. So, I specifically heard you say you got to go at least 1-4 because one of them's got to hit. Do you deny saying that? Now that I just played the video.
No, I said that.
All right.
I definitely said that.
So you don't deny it.
No.
And would you like to state for the millions of people that tune into this show, whether live or they go back and rewatch it, since you could go back and rewatch it, what was your record last week?
0-5.
0-5. One of them's got to win, he says.
Well, every time I haven't gone 5-0 ever.
Neither of us have yet.
Ever.
I should have 2 or 3 times.
If you pick the 5 opposite games, you're going to hit one of them. Especially when I've gone 2-8 in games I liked in the previous 2 weeks. So screw it. If I go 2-3, 3-2, I'm fine with that. Whatever.
Well, you're now 2-13 in the previous 3 weeks.
I'm glad I'm not actually betting these games.
So, let's look at his plays once again. Just to recap what they were. So he told you he liked Georgia last week. Now, if I played the entire tape, it was that he liked Georgia earlier in the week, and then the day before the show, he was telling me, I kind of like Alabama. And then the day of the show, he says, nah, I like Georgia. But then the rest of the plays were all opposite of what he wanted to do. So if he just goes with his plays, he goes 4-1. That is karma.
Yeah?
That's karma. That tells you are so snake bit, it doesn't matter if you play on the games you like or play opposite of the games you like. When you're still losing, you pissed the gods of betting off. Somehow, some way, you pissed them off.
I didn't do anything.
Uh-huh. You must have did something. You got to find a way to get back in their good graces. Virgin sacrifice, I don't know. Find a virgin. I know where we could get one. I know where we could get one, and you know who I'm talking about. He has problems drawing women.
Damn.
Maybe that's what you need, a virgin sacrifice.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Just saying. You better talk to the gods of betting and figure out what the fuck you did to them. So you had Georgia minus 6.5. They lost outright. You had Iowa plus 10.5. They got their doors blown off. You had Chicago plus 7.5. They got their doors not blown off, but they didn't cover.
They almost covered that, I think.
You had Cincinnati minus 3. They got down big early and made a comeback. And then you had Atlanta plus 11. They were covering the entire game. Tampa Bay, on 3rd and short, I believe it was, gets a first down. They run the clock out. They don't. They kick a field goal to go up by 12 or 13 or something like that. Atlanta drives the field on the last play of the game. They don't score. They had a goal to go. They had at least 2 plays. They didn't score. I had the over in that game as well. If they just scored a touchdown, I would have won that game as well.
Yep.
So you went 0-5. You are now 27-43. What percentage is that? Take 27 divided by 70, and what is your percentage?
38.
38%.
38.5, so 39.
38 point... Is it 0.5?
0.57.
All right, 38.57%. God, you pissed off somebody. So let's look at your plays this week, and Lord knows you probably don't want to play them.
No, I don't. But they are the games I did like. I didn't change anything.
Okay, so you didn't play opposite this week.
No.
On any of these.
No, everything is what I like.
Everything is legit.
Yes.
All right. So, no college this game. You didn't feel like taking the Army-Navy game.
No, I kind of liked Army's team total, but it's also Army-Navy, so it'll probably be a 10-7 game.
Anything could happen in the Army-Navy game.
So, I'm not going to touch that game.
Anything could happen. So, you took Tennessee minus 8.5 over Jacksonville.
They're playing Jacksonville.
Tennessee's coming off of a bye.
Yeah.
Jacksonville, they were down big last week.
They lost big as well.
Yeah, they played the Rams. And they were down big last week and still continued to run the football. Like, after they got down by more than 20 points, they still ran the football more than they passed. So that actually tells you something.
They want the first pick.
Well, they don't want Trevor Lawrence to get killed by constantly having him drop back and pass.
True, because it doesn't matter because they're 2-10.
Yeah. So that tells you that they've given up on the season. So this could be a good pick. Except you played it.
Yeah, so Jacksonville's winning outright.
You took Tampa Bay minus 3.5 at home over Buffalo. Now, I did say last week that Tampa's defense is twice as good at home as they are on the road. So this could be a good pick. The only thing that scares me about this pick for you is Buffalo has not lost this year off of a loss. So they haven't lost back-to-back games.
True. I don't know. I just think Buffalo's, as much as we thought they were good at the beginning of the season, they're average.
They are giving up points and yards and stuff. I personally think this is going to be a higher scoring game. You'll see I played this game in a way too when I show my picks. But how would you like to be a player for Buffalo? You played in, gale force winds, freezing rain and snow on Monday, and now you're flying to Tampa for a game on Sunday.
You're probably kind of happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get to play in some warmth.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Because those field goal kicks were funny.
They were. I sent you a video of when they were warming up. They were trying to kick a 35-yard field goal, and it basically looked like like a gliding plane when you throw it. It goes whoosh.
It was funny.
And I
Missing-
remember you doing that with a soccer ball once.
Yeah, I remember there was winds right in our face once, and my goal kicks were going literally 25 yards.
Well, I remember you warming up. There were, back in your day when you played Premier League soccer, there were 2 games where we played in really windy, really cold weather. One was on Bear Creek Mountain,
Ugh.
and the other one was at the Spirit United tournament.
Yeah.
Now, that's the one that I remember, and you guys were playing on an upper field.
Yeah.
That's the one that I remember where we got there early, and you were just goofing around, and you punted one ball into the wind, and it ended up behind you.
Yeah.
I remember that. It ended up behind you. Now, granted, you were, 10 years old.
But still.
So it's not like you had a lot of power in the kick.
Yeah, but that's pretty... Yeah, didn't we play like quarters or something?
Yeah, we ended up playing quarters.
And you switched halves every quarter to make it fair?
Yes. You guys didn't lose that game. You either tied or you won.
I think we tied.
I do think you tied. So now, here's a couple of games that I would not have expected you to take. You took over 48.5 in San Fran, Cincinnati.
Yep.
So what caused you to take that pick? By the way, I like this pick.
I think both teams like to score, but they also seem to give up points. The last few weeks, Cincinnati has put up, between the 2 games, 63 points, and they've given up 51. In the last 2 games San Francisco's played, they've scored 57 and given up 56.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it's just... And the Bengals are... When they come off a loss, they seem to kick some ass.
Yep.
And San Francisco's the epitome of average. But they'll figure out a way to put up like 20 points for me, and the Bengals will put up 30.
Okay. If that's the case, though, I would have taken Cincinnati.
Okay, so Cincinnati won't cover them.
That game is very interesting. That game opened up that Cincinnati was a favorite by like 2 points, and now they're an underdog by 1.5 points.
Originally, Burrow was maybe not playing, but now he's like definitely playing.
Right. So they went from being a favorite to being an underdog.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is weird. You took the under 43 in the New York Giants LA Chargers. Now, I kind of like this pick too. But why did you like it?
Well, the Giants don't score. There's that.
And
the Chargers, other than beating, like, roundhousing the Bengals and the Steelers, they don't score a ton either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think as long as the Giants score less than 14, I don't see this being a problem.
Okay. So I like this pick as well. For the Giants, you don't know who's playing quarterback yet. The only thing we do know is Daniel Jones, their normal starter, is not playing. We don't know if their second-string quarterback who had a concussion is playing yet. So they might be playing their third-string quarterback. The Chargers may not have their starting wide receivers for this game because of COVID. One tested positive for COVID on Monday. So he could be back for Sunday. The other was near him, so he's in COVID protocol. He's, as of last night, was asymptomatic, and he hasn't tested positive yet. So they may play, they may not play. One may play, one may not play. We don't know yet. So that's what actually kept me off of taking this game, because I don't know who's all playing. And then you like Green Bay team total over 27.5. Sunday night at home against the Bears.
I know you said I was like, oh, he's going to pick the 12.5 that the Packers are given. Yeah, I would, but that's a lot of points in the NFL.
It is.
A lot of.
It is.
So, but then I looked at the team total. I'm like, only 28. They should be able to score 4 touchdowns on the Bears. You would hope. I mean, they lost to the Vikings. They scored 31. They beat the Rams. They scored 36.
Mm-hmm. So they are scoring points right now.
They are also off a bye, so they're well rested.
Yeah.
The Bears. They lost to the Cardinals. Big deal. I bet the game though.
Justin Fields is projected to be playing.
That doesn't make a difference.
Well, not to your bet, it doesn't.
No, but I don't think it makes a difference to the game.
Actually, I think it makes a difference even potentially for your bet. Because I think Little Red Robin Hood, if he was playing it, is more ball control. So I think with Justin Fields is playing, you may actually get more touches, more possessions. And yes, I did say Little Red Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
I did say Little Red Robin Hood for Andy Dalton.
It's also kind of the homer pick. I'm just assuming.
I get it.
A little bit of a homer pick there, but it's. I don't know. I got nothing to lose.
No, you don't.
I got nothing to lose. So
you can still have a winning record at the end of the season, though. We got 5 weeks left.
Hey, I could get to 52-43.
Yep, it's possible. So you have Tennessee minus 8.5, Tampa minus 3.5. You have San Fran over 48.5. You have the Giants Chargers under 43, and you have Green Bay's team total over 27.5.
The problem is, you said you liked all those games, so thanks.
Yeah, the Green Bay pick, I'm not sure about. Yes, you would think they should be able to put 28 up on Chicago, but I was looking in the recent past, and more than half the time when they played them, they haven't put up 28. Now, that doesn't mean anything to this game.
Yeah. I don't know if it makes a difference, but if Green Bay wins, they clinch the playoffs.
Okay.
So I don't know if that means they're going to try to score more or if they're just going to make sure they win.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't hate your plays. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that's good.
So let's take a look at mine. I was 33-32 coming into last week, and I went 3-2. I had Georgia as well, minus 6.5. Obviously, it just was a bad pick. I had Western Kentucky, Texas, San Antonio over 74. We discussed that a little bit earlier. They scored 90, so that was a winner. Tampa, Atlanta over 50.5. That was a loser because Atlanta couldn't score on the last play of the game. I had the Eagles minus 6.5, and I thought this play was going to wind up losing when I found out that Hurts wasn't playing. But then the porn star came in, and after a shaky first quarter, they ended up scoring a lot of points and covered. And yes, I did say the porn star. The 70s porn star. The stash.
I didn't even know the Eagles had Gardner Minshew.
So they wound up covering. And I did say my favorite play of the weekend was the Monday night game, New England +3. I loved them at +3. You give me Bill Belichick in what we said was going to be a bad weather game. I will take them all day long. They passed the ball 3 times in the entire game.
Hey, I think he had 2 completions.
He did. The least amount of passes in an NFL game since there was a game in the 70s when the Bills only passed the ball twice, and I'm sure it was a bad weather game. It would have to be for them to only pass twice.
He was 2 for 3 for 19 yards. He did good.
Yes. But that's Bill Belichick. What other coach would only pass the ball 3 times in a game? None. That's why Bill Belichick, either with or without Tom Brady, as of at least right now, is the best NFL coach that's ever coached. He thinks on another level. And that's why I liked New England in that game. I'll take the better coach in bad weather all day long. So that makes me 36-34, 2 games over 500. So, My plays for the week, and there's 2 plays here that I'm not getting the best number that I was kind of hoping to get. I would have liked to have gotten better numbers than this. But I took them anyway because I still think it's the right play. So my first play is I took the Jets plus 5.5 at home against New Orleans. I don't know who starting quarterback for New Orleans is. I don't know if it's the guy that played last week that got hurt or if it's Trevor Siemian. If it's Trevor Siemian, Jets could win this game outright. Jets could win this game outright anyway. New Orleans is kind of playing out the string. They've lost, I think, 6 straight now. And now you're earlier in the week, this line was 6.5. On Monday, you could have got this at 6.5. But we do when we do our lines, we do what the lines are as of noon on the day of the show. So our lines were as of noon today.
Jameis Winston is on the injured reserve.
Yes, the other guy.
He's not even on the injured list.
All right, but the guy that has the bad finger. So.
Yeah, he's not even on their injury report. So.
Right. So. I'll take the Jets under any of those circumstances. I have Baltimore, Cleveland, first half under 20.5. I was really hoping and thinking I should be able to get 21.5 on this. So, if I bet the game, I will definitely do some line shopping to get 21.5. I will not bet it at 20.5. I could guarantee you, though, I can find books that have it at 21.5. That won't be a problem. Take a guess the last 3 games, how many points Baltimore is averaging in the first half?
6.
2. And let me remind you, one of those games was against Cleveland. Cleveland is actually playing Baltimore back-to-back. They had a bye last week. They played Baltimore the week before. Cleveland in their last 3 games is averaging 8 points in the first half. That tells me play the under. I was kind of hoping it would be a windy day up in Cleveland, but the advanced forecast isn't for wind. Because there's going to be some bad storms going through there tomorrow, so I was thinking maybe you'll get a lot of wind coming off of Lake Erie or Lake Michigan. Well, it's Lake Erie that's right up along the Lake of Cleveland. But that's not what the weather forecast has. But I still like under 24.5. Now, similar to you like the over in the San Fran-Cincinnati game at 48.5. I like the over first half, 24.5. Again, this is the other game I was hoping to get a better line on. I was hoping to get 23.5. I won't bet it at 24.5. But these 2 teams are the exact opposite of Baltimore and Cleveland. Their last 3 games, their average together is, they're for the first half, over 31 points. So, and I'm at 24.5. I think this is a very high-scoring game. It won't surprise me if both teams are in the 30s. That wouldn't surprise me at all. Which gives you a win.
I mean, I'm at least 1-4.
Yes. For my 4th play, I have Buffalo Bills first half team total over 12.5. So I need Buffalo, and only Buffalo, to score 13 or more points in the first half. Tampa averages giving up 17 points all year in the first half. They've also averaged giving up 17 points the last 3 games. Now, you're giving me a Buffalo team that does know how to score points coming off of a game where they didn't score points because of the weather and going up against Bill Belichick. I see a reversal here. It wouldn't shock me if Buffalo were to win this game. So that's why, out of all your picks, the Tampa pick was probably the one I didn't like the most. But that doesn't mean that Tampa isn't going to win. Just because I don't like it doesn't mean it's going to lose or win. But I think Buffalo over 12.5 in the first half is a pretty safe bet. I could see them. I could see this being Buffalo is ahead at halftime, like 17-14, and then one of the other teams wins, or one team or the other wins somewhere in the 30s. Like I could see this game being in the 30s too, just like the game before.
Tampa Bay is another team. If they win, they make the playoffs.
Okay.
There's 3 of them. The other one is your next pick.
And my last pick, I'm going back to Monday night, just like last week. I'll take Arizona minus 2.5 over the Rams. You got the better team at home on Monday night. I know they sometimes struggle against the Rams, but the Rams have kind of fallen on hard times. They are not playing great right now. Ever since Woods has gone out, they haven't played well. Stafford has thrown a pick 6 3 out of his last 4 games. I like Arizona minus 2.5. So there are my picks. I like the Jets plus 5.5. Under 20.5 in the first quarter of Baltimore Cleveland. Over 24.5 under 20.5 first half Baltimore Cleveland. Over 24.5 first half Cincy San Fran. Over 12.5 for Buffalo team total and Arizona minus 2.5. And that is this week's Phatts Phantastic Phive. So, there we go. There's our plays. Anything you'd like to say before we wrap it up? And I got to go eat dinner because Fat Guy is starving. Fat Guy hasn't really eaten all day today.
I'm at least getting 1 win this week.
Yay!
I feel confident I'm going to get at least 1 win. So how me would it be to go 5-0?
It wouldn't be you at all.
Oh, well.
Considering in the nearly 2 years we've been doing this, neither of us have gone 5-0.
Which is astounding.
You would, yes. I've gotten so unlucky twice. I've gone. There's been like 4 weeks I've gone 4-1 this year. 2 of those weeks I should have gone 5-0. I've gotten very unlucky, and that's like where Pitt needs to score. They've put up 40-some points and needs to score 3 more in the fourth quarter. They have the whole fourth quarter. They had the whole last half of the third quarter and all fourth quarter to score 3 more points. They didn't. After they put up 34 before that. That was one of those games.
Pitt. Talking about Pitt.
Yeah.
The fake slide is now illegal.
I told you it would be.
The NCAA came out. I saw it today. If a quarterback goes to fake slide, they are down right there.
I told you it would be.
Because, it makes sense. It's there to protect the quarterback. So now, if you're a defensive guy, now you're going to hit him.
Yes.
And now you're going to take a flag 90% of the time.
Yep.
So,
I didn't think it would happen until next season.
Nope. They already did it.
Yep.
Probably because they're worried somebody would have did it in, like, the college playoffs, and then whatever.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a smart move.
Did it very quickly, though.
I think it's a smart move because sooner or later a quarterback was going to get killed. Would have gotten killed.
Oh, yeah.
Because now you can't. As soon as he goes the slide, players aren't going to let up, and they're still going to go hit him. Well, I didn't know if he was going to fake or not.
Right.
So I think it's the right move. All right, so that's going to do it for this week. We will figure out what day we're doing the show next week. And join us. We'll have our picks for our college bowl contest. I'm sure you're all excited about that.
I'm probably not going to go over 500 somehow. When it should be that hard to pick just winners.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you'd be surprised.
All right. For the non-genetically proven son, I am PA Phatts. We will see you next week. Have a safe, happy, and healthy weekend. Wave goodbye to the kind people. See you, everybody.